ever. Yeah, excited. Okay. So we're going to do secant tangent. All that is a type of lines through the circle. So I'll show you some different ones. So up here at the top, I'm going to show you the different ones. So you can either have two secants. And so what a secant line is, remember tangent touches the outside of the circle. Secant is a line that goes through the circle. So it's going to look like this. So your angle is going to be outside of the circle. And it's going to form two arcs. It's going to form a little tiny arc and a big arc. You could also have a secant and a tangent. That's where you're going to have one going through and one touching the bottom of the circle. So mine doesn't look like it touches. Or you can have two tangents, and that's like this. All of these are the same exact formula, okay? So it doesn't matter, you don't have to memorize that they're secant or that they're tangent or whatever. What you need to be able to do is identify the two arcs within. So if we're looking at this one, those two are your arcs. On this one, and I'm going to kind of highlight it a little bit different. You have two arcs from the tangent point, and then same thing on the other one. You'll have one part of the circle, and then you'll finish out with the rest of the circle on two tangents. But you still have, like I said, you still have two arcs, okay? So just to let you know where they're coming from. So your formula for this is that the angle equals half, and this is my formula. This is not clearly the mathematically correct formula. Big minus little. So it's the big arc minus the little arc. All right. So if we look at the very first ones that we have, those are two tangents. I could stretch that angle all the way across, but it makes two different arcs. There's a big arc here. And there's the little arc inside. But remember, two tangents will make a full circle. Okay. So to be able to find the angle, I need both arcs, but I only have one. I only have the 115. So how could I get the pink arc? Since we're dealing with a full circle.
360 minus 115.
Perfect. 360 minus 115. In your calculator, 360 minus 115 is 245. Okay. So then we do our formula. Angle equals half of the big, which was 245, minus the little one, which was 115. You can put that straight in your calculator. I usually just use 0.5, 245 minus 115. And we get that the angle equals 65 degrees. So that's it. It doesn't matter. Again, the only thing you want to do is make sure it's big. Why do you want big minus little right here?
So you don't get a
So it's not a negative. We want a positive number. So that's the only reason I do big minus little. It doesn't matter which arc you choose as long as you put the bigger measure first, okay? So same thing on the other one. We actually have the big one this time. We have the 246. But I need the other side so that I can do my formula. So how do I find the other side? How do I find this yellow arc? Subtract what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Subtract it from 360, so 360 minus 246 gives me 114. So angle equals half of the bigger one, 246, minus the little one, 114. So again, I just do 0.5, 246 minus 114, and I get that the angle is 66 degrees. And that's it. Okay. And all of these are like that. They get a little bit harder trying to figure out where the angles are. I mean, where the arcs are. Same thing on the next one. It just says solve for x. Assume that they're tangent. This time they give you an angle. You still have to find that arc, and you're looking for the angle in x, okay? So same thing. There's nothing any different about this problem, just that they give you a different expression for your angle instead of just x. So there's your first arc. We need to find the little arc. How do we find the little arc? 360 minus 235 gives me 125. So then our formula again is angle equals half of the big minus the little. But this time we have an expression for the angle, so we're going to put that expression in. Equals 1/2. Your big arc was 235. Your little arc was 125. Okay. Same thing, you can just put this as a number and that's perfectly fine. If you had x's here, I would probably go ahead and multiply by 2. You can do either one you want to. I don't care, but it's like the other one that we had. If you can, get rid of that 2. So 0.5, 235 minus 125 gives me 55. So 7x minus 8 equals 55. How do I solve? Add 8. So 7x equals 63. And then divide by 7. Sorry, y'all can't see that. It gives you 9. And again, it just said solve for x, so we're good. If it asks you to find the angle, you just plug it back in. So just watch what they ask for. All right. So in geometry, that's where they like to trip you up. Look at your next one. We have the big arc. We need the middle arc, or this middle part right here. How do I find that? 360 minus 228, which gives me 132. So then we do the angle, which is 9x minus 6, equals 1/2 of the big. The big one is 228, minus the little is 132. Again, you can go ahead and put that one side in, 0.5 times 228 minus 132. We get 9x minus 6 equals 48. Just so you have one that's worked out, we're going to add 6. We get 9x equals 54. Divide by 9. And again, all this stuff you should be able to do in your head, but you can use your calculator so nobody cares. Okay? Everybody good? That's literally it. All right, look at your next one. Find the measure of the arc or angle indicated. Assume that lines which appear tangent are tangent. Again, it said find the measure indicated, so we need this big part here. But the problem is I don't have either one. Okay, so these are the hardest problems. Got it? These are the hardest ones. So what I would always do, let me think about it. Yes, what I would always do is label the little one X. And then to get the big one, remember just what we were doing? Subtract it from 360. So this would be 360 minus X. The reason that I want you to put the 360 minus X on the outside is so you don't have to do any crazy distribution in your formula. So I'll show you that in just a second. Your angle is 76 equals half of your big. Your big is your 360 minus X. Minus your little is X. If you do it the other way around, you have to distribute your negative to both the 360 and the X. It just makes it extra crazy. Okay, so try to make this one your big arc all the time. It will work the other way as well. So on this one, I can do the 1/2 or I can just multiply it over. So I just want to get rid of it. So I go ahead and multiply by 2. So 76 times 2 is 152. And then I'm going to clean this up, equals 360 minus 2x. We're going to subtract 360. We get negative 208 equals negative 2x. Divide by negative 2. And we get x equals 104. But it didn't want 104. It wanted the question mark. So what do we have to do? 360 minus 104. So we just plugged it in. Gives us 256. Okay, so not just solving for x, but plugging in. All right, so what am I going to label the question mark? Since I don't know either one of these, what am I going to label the question mark?
X minus 360.
Other way around.
360 minus
Yeah, perfect. 360 minus x, and this one's going to be our x. So then we're going to do angle equals half the big 360 minus x minus the little, which is x. You guys can work that out, but I want to show you what the other part would look like. I'm trying to find it good. If you switch it up, this is what's going to happen. So like if you switch these two, I want to show you just in case you do it in your homework, not thinking about it. This is what you would get. And this is where you would mess up because you got to make sure you distribute that minus. So if you'll keep it the way I tell you, you don't have to do any kind of crazy distribution. But if you do it this way, you're going to have to distribute that minus and make that a positive. So you should always have a 2x inside here. So if anything screws up while you're doing your homework, that's just an example of how it's going to work. Okay, so that would be the place that you mess up. So you still do it. It's still the same thing. Just watch your signs. So then I don't want to deal with the 1/2, so I'm going to multiply by 2. Again, you should be able to do it in your head, but if you can't, that's okay. 130 equals 360. Clean it up. Minus 2x. We're going to subtract 360. We get negative 230 equals negative 2x. Divide by negative 2 and we get x equals 115. It didn't want x. It wanted the question mark.
360 minus 115.
So we're going to do 360 minus 115. Which gives us 245. Again, watch that. If it's multiple choice, it's probably going to show the 115 on there. So just be aware of what they're asking for. All right, same thing on the next ones. Same thing on the next ones. Number 8 is easier than number 7. Number 7, I have the little one, but I don't have the big one. So how are we getting the big one? Subtract from 360. So this is what you got to be careful of. Sorry, don't do that. Let me do it down here. 360, we're going to subtract 22x minus 1. That's where I'm talking about watch your distributions, okay? So this is actually going to be 360 minus 22x plus 1 or 361 minus 22x. So when you do your formula, angle equals 1/2. Big is 361 minus 22x minus your little. I don't think this is right. Did I screw something up? We're going to keep going. This is going to be a no solution. All right, so when I finish this out, 142 equals 361 minus 22x. No, it's not. Minus 22x plus 1. I have to distribute the negative. Sorry. We get 142 equals 361 minus 44x. And I left that plus 1 on there. I probably should have went ahead and put it together. 142 equals 362 minus 44x. Keep solving it, minus 362. So 142 minus 362 is negative 220 equals negative 44x. Divide by negative 44, and x equals 5. It said solve for x, so you guys are done. Sorry, I was thinking the 22s were going to cancel out. All right, so look at number 8. Look at number 8. All they want you to do is solve for x. Do I need the angle to be able to solve for x? Why do I not need the angle? They all equal 360, right? So this is the full circle. So we're just going to add those up. 24x minus 10 plus 15x minus 20. And that gives us our full circle at 360. So just watch what they give you. We don't need, this is not even important to us. Okay. 24 plus 15, 39x. Negative 10 minus 20 is negative 30. Equals 360. Add 30. We get 39x equals 390. Divide by 39. And we get x equals 10. And all it wanted was x, so we're good to go. Everybody okay, 1 through 8? Zoomers, I hope you're doing okay. I get a lot of questions from you guys or a lot of comments on your quizzes at the very end. I'm not real sure how I'm doing this. This was really hard, but then you don't ask me any questions. So if you have those questions, you need to ask them or ask me to Zoom later or something, but we got to get it together, okay? Find the measure of the arc or angle indicated. Assume that the lines which appear tangent are tangent. So we're looking for this angle right here. Okay. How many arcs are inside that angle? How many arcs are inside that angle? Are there? Check it out again. Look at these. These are clearly defined. How many, like even if I do this, there's 1, 2 inside, right? So 1, 2. What about these? Are there 2 inside of this angle? And that little bitty thing is not really an arc. I'm just talking about the circle. How many parts of the circle are inside the angle?
1.
One part. So this one's just a little bit different. This one is just angle equals half the arc, like a normal one. Okay. So the problem is I don't know this arc. I do know this one. How do I find this one on the bottom? So to find this one, I'm doing 360 minus 270. And I get 90. So your angle equals half of your arc inside, which is 90. Half of 90 is 45. Same thing on the next one. There's only one arc inside. So we're doing angle equals half of that arc. Sorry. How do I find that arc? So 360 minus 262 is 98. So we get the angle equals half of 98. Half of 98 is 49. Right. Same formula, they just get a little bit harder, like the 360 minus x or whatever that you have, okay? So be ready for that. Look at this one. We got to be able to find this arc. How do we find this arc? How'd you find this one? Subtract it from 360. So we're going to do 360. Watch this. Put your other arc in parentheses so you don't screw it up, just like I did on that last one. Minus 2 plus 258x. All right, again, angle equals half the arc. Your angle is 54x minus 2. We're going to do half. And then this arc, we can clean it up. Make sure you distribute that negative. 360 plus 2 minus 258x. What is 360 plus 2?
362.
Minus 258x. Perfect. I can either divide both of these by 2 or multiply these by 2. I like to multiply better than I like to divide. So 54 times 2 is 108 minus 4 equals 362 minus 258x. If you'd rather divide these by 2, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to add 258x to both sides. (360x) 366x minus 4 equals 362. Add 4. 366x equals 366. So what is x going to equal? 1. Divide by 366, you get 1. So the only thing, guys, just pay attention on this step right here that you have to distribute that negative on, okay? That's the only hard part of this whole thing. Everything else worked out exactly the same. So same thing on this one. To get this arc right here, you do that 360 minus, make sure you put it in parentheses, 47x plus 5, which gives you 360 minus 47x minus 5. And I'll clean it up when I put it in my formula. So angle equals half the arc. Our angle this time is 13x minus 5. Half. And then your arc is 360 minus 5, which is 355 minus 47x. The reason I don't use the half is because right here you would use decimals or a fraction, and that's why I don't like that. I just go ahead and multiply, so that way I avoid that at all costs. So I'm going to multiply the other side by 2. I get 26x minus 10 equals 355 minus 47x. I'm going to add my 47x. I get 73x minus 10 equals 355. I'm going to add 10. And I get 365. Then I'm going to divide by 73. And x equals 5. Any questions? The other ones are the exact same way. This time they don't give you either angle. They don't give you either angle. But it wants you to find this big one. So how do I do this if I don't have either angle? Just like I did on the first sheet. Label 1 what? So we get angle equals half the arc. And again, I would do it this way, the same way. The bigger one's going to be the 360 minus x. Your angle is 55 equals half, and we don't know that arc. We labeled it X. We're going to multiply by 2. What do we get? 110 equals X. So this arc is 110. How do I find the other arc? So we get 250. That's it, yeah. Not too bad, right? It's actually easier than the other ones. So same thing on this one. I would label your smaller one X, your bigger one 360 minus X. So our angle, which is 60, equals half of our arc X. We're going to multiply by 2. I get 120 equals X. We were looking for X this time, so we're good to go. Okay, you don't have to subtract it from 360 because X is right here. Okay, again, just watch what it's asking you to do. All right. Stop or X, assume that the lines which appear tangent are tangent, same thing. So how do I get this little arc inside? I have the big one. How do I get the little one?
360 minus 278 plus X.
Make sure that you put it in parentheses because you have to distribute that negative. So this is actually going to be 360 minus X minus 278. 360 minus 278 is 82 minus X. So that arc is 82 minus X. So your angle, which is 41, equals half of your arc, 82 minus X. Again, I just multiply by 2, so I get 82 equals 82 minus X, and this is okay. Subtract 82. I get 0 equals negative X. You can divide by -1, or just know that it's 0. Is it okay to get 0? Yes, because 0 plus 278 is 278, which is a valid measurement. Or down here, 82 minus 0 is 82, which is a valid measurement. So it doesn't matter if X is 0 or negative, as long as it makes good measurements on your circle. Okay, so don't stress out if you get 0 or a negative number. Same thing on the next one. How do I figure out this arc that's inside? Subtract it from 360. Make sure you put parentheses. 20x plus 16. So we get 360 minus 20x minus 16, which gives us 344 minus 20x. We may have to come out and go back in, okay? Your angle is 8x plus 10. Sorry, equals half of 344 minus 20x. Sorry, that's really crappy. Half of 344 minus 20x. Again, I multiply by 2, so 16x plus 20 equals 344 minus 20x. Add your 20. You can do these at the same time if you want to, and subtract your 20 there. So these cancel and these cancel. I get 36x equals 324. 324 divided by 36 gives me 9. And again, we were looking for X, so we're good to go. Oh, there's a lot. All right. There's a lot of notes. Don't freak out. We may not do them all. I just want to make sure y'all are comfortable. These are the exact same way. They're just not like our other ones look like this. Those angles. It's the same formula. So how many arcs are inside? There are two, so we have to find the difference. So one arc is just half the arc. If there's two arcs inside, it's the difference of the two arcs. So this one is going to be angle equals half big minus little. So we're going back to that. We don't know our angle. We know our big is 174. Our little is 88. And then we just put that in our calculator. So 0.5, 174 minus 88 gives us 43. 18 is the exact same way, except you have 170 and 50. So it's the same exact way. We're going to skip over. This one is the same way. You're just solving for X. Everybody okay with one like that? All right. These two are exactly the same way. You're just solving for the arc instead of the angle. So the angle equals half. Your big is X. Your little is 86. So 82 equals X minus 86. Add 86. And you get 168 equals X. So same thing that you've been doing. Same thing here, except for X is going to be on the little one this time. So to set it up, 60 equals 1/2. Big is 211 minus X. That's an easy problem. I'm not going to solve it for you. 23 and 24 exactly the same way. Is everybody okay with those? And then I don't know what I want to do. All right. So then these, because they're on the inside, let me do this. Let me we're good. Angle equals half arc plus arc. So here's what you have. You guys see like this X that it makes in here? Yes. So whatever these two angles are, it can be either one of them. These two added together, cut in half, are going to be that angle. So your angle equals half of your two vertical arcs. So 99 and 83. I wish I got 5 minutes. So we get the angle equals 91. We're going to do a lot of notes. So we're going to probably have to come back out and go back in, but I'll cut your homework off. So you'll just have a quiz. So don't stress out too much. Okay. So I give and I take. So how would I set up 26? Your inside angle equals what?
Half 80 plus 70.
80 plus 170. So 0.5, 80 plus 170 gives us 125. These are all like the exact same way. You're just throwing in some X's in there. So this one is your angle. 11X minus 7 equals half of 89 plus 95. So half of 89 plus 95 is 92. Add your 7. You get 11X equals 99. Divide by 11 and you get 9. Number 28 is the exact same way. On 29, all you're doing is finding the arc. Use the same formula. The angle, which is 110, equals half. And it doesn't matter which one you put first because we're adding X plus 50. I multiply by 2, so I get 220 equals X plus 50. and then subtract my 50. And I get 170 equals X. 70 or 80? Sorry, 170, yeah. I keep looking at things like they're wrong. Y'all know how like when you write something down, like a word down, and you're like, that don't look right, but it is. It's like the easiest 4-letter word or something. All right, 30 is the exact same way. 31, they just add some expressions in. Say your angle equals half of your arcs, 50 plus 25x plus 8. I multiply by 2. So I get 258 equals, I'm going to put these together, 25x plus 58. You're going to solve it by subtracting 58. So you get 200 equals 25x. Divide by 25 and you get x equals 8. So again, nothing hard on there. I'm trying to find some that might be trippy for you guys. Okay, any questions on that page? Pretty simple. All right, so then what's the difference in these angles compared to the ones we did in the very beginning? Where are the angles located? So here's the ones we did in the beginning. Where are these angles compared to this one?
We're inside this one.
Yeah, this one's outside, this is inside. These are the inscribed that we've already done. So remember, inscribed is half the arc. So again, if there's only one arc inside, you're taking half. So think about it, doesn't matter if it's inside or outside. If there's only one arc inside and there's only one, you're doing half the arc, which is 45. So these are the exact same thing that you've been doing for the last couple days, okay? So your angle 43x equals half of the arc, which is 87x minus 1. I'm not going to solve it out. I'm just showing you how to do it. Same thing on 37. It's on the inside. So your angle equals half. We don't know our arc. We multiply by 2. So 150 would be x. Nothing crazy. Go back to 41. What would you do on 41? If it cuts out, just come back in. How many arcs are inside the angle? 2.
Big.
These angles on the outside, we need to find the difference, okay? So angle equals half big minus little. So that would be 41. I think everything else is pretty cut and dry. Half, half, half. All of those are easy. Yeah, so I don't really have to do any more. When it cuts out, you guys are free to go do your quiz. Don't do the homework. I'll take the homework off. Okay, since we spent so much time doing this. Everybody good? If you have questions, please ask me, please. If you need me to come back in the Zoom, I'll come back in.